All right, I want to make sure I teed it up for you guys. So let's go into sleep apnea secondary to sinusitis. Sinusitis is a condition where a person's sinuses become swollen and inflamed for 3 months or longer. Some of the symptoms are nasal inflammation, discharge from the nose, drainage down the back of the throat, pain, tenderness, swelling around your eyes, cheeks, or forehead, ear pain. It's all over the place. Fatigue, cough. Let's hop over to a BVA decision where a veteran won sleep apnea secondary to sinusitis. I encourage you to go to bva.va.gov and look these things up. Entitlement to service connection for sleep apnea to include as secondary to service-connected sinusitis. Finding of fact. The veteran has sleep apnea that is aggravated by a service-connected sinusitis. In April, the doctor related the veteran had been diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea. The doctor opined, that means he's given an opinion because he's a doctor and he can, that the veteran's sinusitis, which he had in service, could have contributed to a sleep apnea because of resulting nasal obstruction. At the VA exam, the C&P exam, the veteran was again diagnosed with sleep apnea. The examiner reviewed the claims file, your VA claims file. You always need to review your VA claims file. And conducted a clinical evaluation of the veteran. The examiner concluded that it was less likely than not the veteran's sleep apnea was incurred or caused by service. This is the barrier that they use. Less likely than not means your claim is sunk. You want at least as likely than not, or more likely than not, or is due to. So after all this was unraveled, VA examiner provided a complete rationale for his opinion, and consequently the board finds that service connection for sleep apnea is warranted as secondary to service-connected sinusitis. You have to get into the law. You have to get into it enough to understand what's going on. You have to understand what's going on. Somebody's going to be arguing on your behalf. You need to know what they're arguing, why they're arguing it, and you should, it's worth spending the time doing this stuff. PTSD secondary to sleep apnea. PTSD is a mental health rating. I have other videos. I'll link to those in the description. But a common secondary for PTSD is sleep apnea secondary to PTSD. Let's hop over to another BVA decision. Entitlement to service connection for sleep apnea secondary to service-connected PTSD on a causation basis is granted. So we have aggravated by, or caused by, or is due to. So this is caused by. That's what causation means. Findings of fact. The evidence is at least evenly balanced as to whether the veteran picked this up because of PTSD or not. This is called equipoise. The tie goes to the runner on these. Although the June 2018 opinion and they started doing a doctor's initials here, is of minimum probative value because it uses ambiguous terminology, which is a joke. Because the rating criteria, as you read the CFR Part 4 of the Schedule for Rating Disabilities, it is nothing but ambiguous. It at least supports the conclusion that the veteran's sleep apnea is caused by a service-connected PTSD. So this is one of those things you don't want to run up there with a tie, but if you end up with a tie, you want to be able to win it. And here's an example of that. Check it out. And then we'll finish up with lower back conditions secondary to sleep apnea. We have lower back problems. We take medication for those problems. They cause us to gain weight. We don't move around, all that kind of stuff. So you can do a claim if you develop sleep apnea because of your lower back conditions. You can file a claim for sleep apnea secondary to lower back conditions. Service connection for sleep apnea as secondary and caused by service-connected lumbar spine disability is granted. And this is another causation one. As secondary and caused by a service-connected lumbar spine disability is granted. By resolving all reasonable doubt in the veteran's favor, his sleep apnea is caused by his medications, including muscle relaxers, for treating his service-connected lumbar spine disability. So this is the intermediate step of medications. Here the board finds that the August 2021 medical opinion is supported by clear rationale, which is consistent with and corroborates the June 17th VA treatment record. I'll hop in here. That's why you need to be consistent. Whatever your story is, dream one up, have one, don't change it, and make it consistent because they're going to be looking at your record, as well as the medical literature the veteran submitted to support his claim. He began to take medications for his back disability, and the board also finds that by resolving all reasonable doubt in the veteran's favor, which is how this is supposed to be, that's what reasonable doubt is supposed to be, but you have to go to the BVA for a while to argue this, maybe have a lawyer. His obstructive sleep apnea is caused by the medication he uses to treat his service-connected lumbar spine disability. So here's 3 high-value secondaries that you can file a sleep apnea claim for. Sleep apnea secondary to sinusitis, sleep apnea secondary to PTSD, and sleep apnea secondary to a lower back condition. So it works all over the place. And these are 3 that I recommend you checking out. You should check out the BVA at bva.va.gov and review what other veterans have done. It's all about argument. I know you guys don't think it's an argument. It's just roll in there and file some shitty claim and get denied and, oh, that sucks, VA, that you didn't rate me. Be a little more scientific than that. Be a little more legal than that. Go read what other veterans have done because it's going to make a huge difference. If you have any clue what you're doing, you're way ahead of the game. They're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, rule in your favor. Let me jump in here real quick and tell you about my boot camp. If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, check out my boot camp. You can talk to me live. There's a link on the website and in the description, combatcraig.com. And also, if you need medical evidence like a nexus or documenting your symptoms properly, go to our website, combatcraig.com, and it says medteam/nexus letters. Click on that link, fill out the form, boom, you're done.